And we are live. Welcome to CyberCast IRL. I'm your host, Daniel Lowry, and it is Friday, March the 6th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you are all having a great day today. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I hope you have a great weekend this weekend as well. The weather is starting to get nice. It actually got warm enough. Fun fact, I have a desk fan on right now. I don't have the air conditioner on, but it needed to come on last night, and I found out that it needs coolant, so I got to get that done. But good to see everyone. I already got some great chat going on in the chat room, so if you are here this morning, please say hello in the chat to everyone. It's okay if you want to stay in lurk mode, but at least drop by and say hello so that we know you're there. We can salute you for joining us today. We really appreciate anyone that stops by. Thank you, Neckbeard. I just happened to look at the chat, and Neckbeard said, awesome t-shirt, I have to say. Well, I'm glad. I haven't worn this shirt in a while. Kind of grabbing things. I have got quite the extensive t-shirt collection. And you know, it's easy to just get whatever's in the wash rotated over and over and over again. So I was like, reach in, grab something different. And this is what came out. Furious George says it's above freezing in Canada land where he's from. Yep. Temperatures are moving up. Springtime is here. I've noticed that the trees are starting to bud and the grass is starting to grow. In Florida, it got to be about 88 yesterday. So a little warm, and it rained, so it got really muggy. It's always fun. But yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is a cybersecurity podcast. I know that the introduction there probably doesn't do that justice. We tend to do life together. It's more of a, now that I think about it, CyberCast IRL is more of a gathering place, a community of people that come together and talk about life that are also interested in cybersecurity. And we do focus on cybersecurity stuff, but we have community here, right? We talk, we say hello. Legrat says, I don't have a jacket or a sweater on. It's a wonderful warm day. Yeah, it is definitely warm back up in Florida. So very cool stuff. Let's see, where are we at? For those of you that are new, thank you for joining us. I noticed that last week's video, or last week's CyberCast IRL, got a lot more views than typical. I usually get, maybe 300 to 400 views on an episode. And I'm already right around 600 on this one. Also got more downvotes. It did not lose. I had 4 people dislike that last week's show, but that's interesting, right? And that's fine. Not everybody's cup of tea. I just thought it was an interesting thing. The more views you have, the more likely it is that you're going to find people that didn't like what you did. And then you just go, I wonder what it was that they didn't like about it. So interesting stuff. That said, again, for those of you new, we're going to talk some cyber stuff today. We're going to take a look at some phishing software as a service today, as well as living on the land, but with more like living off the AI, not living on the land, living off the land, and living off AI. Those are going to be our 2 topics that we're going to try to get to today. But I got to fuel up. Man, I'm not feeling myself. I did not get great sleep last night. I woke up a little early. The time change is coming this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be fun, right? Always love readjusting my internal body clock. My dog knows nothing of what time changes are, so that's always fun. He's going to be like, what is happening? Right? It's like, it's time to walk, bro. He's like, nah, I got to go. So that'll be a great time. But one thing we like to do is we like to fuel up for the show. And we do that with this lovely, was it Corksicle? Yeah. Corksicle. I wonder if I can find this. You know what? I'm going to bring you guys chat in. I just feel like doing this today. And it's my show, and I do what I want. Welcome, everyone. By the way, this is also AMA, so if you have stuff you want to ask me, you have questions or whatever, feel free. Throw it in the chat. At my name, much like InfoSec Man did there, right? With Morning All and Daniel Lowry. You see how that shows up if you at my name. By the way, White Hat Sheepdog, this happened to him last week. He was adding my name, and if you put anything attached to that name, it removes the tagging. Fun, right? Because it's like, well, that's not Daniel Lowry. Daniel Lowry's not Daniel Lowry, comma, right? It's just Daniel Lowry. So if you have to put a comma, make a space and then make a comma or whatever you need to do. Do not attach anything or it won't show up. And I can see the White Hat Sheepdog has got that down now. We are living life now with AI, if you ask me. Yes, we are. It is a thing. I use it every single day in my job. I used it yesterday. It really helped me out in building a CTF. We'll talk about that too if you want to. Let's see here. Troll's gonna troll. Oh, it's because the drink sucked. Yeah, most people. Hey, what are you gonna do, right? Hopefully this week's does not suck. Yeah, still says it is the snowy season for TechGrunt. But anyway, if you want to catch my attention, just like TechGrunt did, just like White Hat Sheepdog did, just like any of these other good folks, InfoSec Man, Sierra Montgomery. By the way, Find the True, Wayne's Real World. Thank you all for showing up every Friday. It's so much fun to come and know that there's a bevy of people that are always going to be there, and it's awesome to see you guys and have conversations with you. Phil Stafford as well. Good to see you, Furious George. So yeah, AI still can't pour that monster. You're darn right, Nick Dowd. So Nick kind of let the cat out of the bag. We get this cup. Oh, what I was going to do. Yeah. Let me get this. Nick Dowd, I guess is your name. D-O-U-D. Dowd. I think that's how that goes. I'm going to look this up. Cork Sickle, C-I-C-L-E. I guess it's called a tumbler. Tumbler. Woodland camo. Can we find these in case I ever needed to replace this? Booyah! $40. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's on eBay's site. Like, why is it $40 on eBay? That looks more like $28. All right, let's go see here. And that's the ad. Oh, kiss it. I don't even see woodland camo. Oh, there's a woodland little one. No, we need the Lord's camo cup. Where is this at? Fine. Wow, $40 on eBay. That's just ridiculous. All right. Can you help me out? Woodland camo. Camo. Come on, fat fingers, stupid idiot. That is Daniel. There it is. There it is, $31. That's still a lot of money. The Lord's Camo Cup costs. That is no joke. But now I know if I ever need to replace, I should probably just get one as a backup for when it dies, whenever one day that happens. I hope it's not used. But anyway, so sorry. We took a little detour there, but we take the Lord's Camo Cup. We pop the top. It is full of ice. There's the thing. And we grab a monster. Now, today, I'm trying a new monster yet again. I have hopes for this one, though. My wife picked this one out. She got it for me last. I was like, hey, babe, I got to go. I'm going to go work out. Could you please, I forgot to get a monster. Could you run to the store and grab me a monster? She's like, sure. And then when I got done, I was like, hey, were you able to get a monster? She said, yeah. And I'm really excited that to try this one. It looks good. It's a new one's called Punk Punch, right? Punk Punch. I'm digging it. I like the color. I like everything, I like the vibe of this can. But let's get to it. A little ASMR. Here we go. Get the crack. Whoa. My hand actually kind of covered that up. It shot out. Oh, I can't touch it. I almost drank it. I shouldn't have done that. Let's get the pour. Pour. Oh. Go. Daniel's spilling it everywhere like a moron. It's a pretty good pour, guys. We haven't had a perfect pour in a while. Are we going to get it today? Look at that. We did it. It smells amazing. Oh, Mrs. Lowry did right. That's good. Dude. Making sure I didn't hit the mute button, but that is amazingly good. Oh my goodness, this might be my new favorite. Bro. Oh my goodness, that's good. Wowzers. I hope they never discontinue this. Phil Stafford, what do I win? I don't know. You win something. Whenever next I see you next. Yeah. Wow, that is tasty. Yeah, the crack wasn't great, Furious George, but it made up for it in spades with flavor. It is really good. Man, that's tasty. Well, okay, there's the morning pour for us today, kids. That was not too bad. That was not too bad. It's not every day that Uncle Dan says he might have a new favorite when it comes to Monster. Luke Canfield, you mentioned something about Aldi's quote unquote their Monster can, their energy drink. You said it was legit. Hit me up in our Discord. By the way, if you want to join us in Discord so you can continue the revelries and have a lot of fun, we have a Discord link in the description. Go ahead and grab that. Say hello. Introduce yourself. We'd love to see you there. You know, we're still a small community, but we are strong. I have noticed a little downturn in the activity there, but I'm guessing it's just everybody's busy, right? Everybody gets busy. I've been busy. Dude, job, whole 9 yards. That's another weird thing. Before we get into the cybersecurity technical stuff we're going to look at today, I wanted to pose a question because I kind of had an epiphany. Not maybe epiphany level, but just more of like, yeah, that seems to check out. I have noticed that it seems that people are more interested in cybersecurity job talk than they are technical talk. What say ye, folks? Let me go to the chat here. I look forward to seeing that stuff start to come through here. While that starts happening, when you think about that, throw an answer in the chat on what you want. Would you prefer, not that I'm like trying to, and if we want to talk about job stuff, we totally can. But I've just noticed that I make content, right? And when that content is technical in nature, most people are like, meh. I find that interesting because the thing that drew me to the work was the technical aspect of the job, right? It wasn't money. It wasn't like it was like being able to do really cool things with technology. That interested me a lot. And that's what drew me into the field. So what say you? Do you prefer a more technical show, a more job focused show, like where we talk more about work and that, how to get work and, interview processes, resumes, and things of that nature? Or is it skills? Like, how do I do X, Y, or Z? Just trying to get my finger on the pulse of the community out there. And since I've got you right here, right now as an audience, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? So let me check in with chat here and see what you guys are talking about. I don't want to miss anything here. That monster sounds aggressive. Yes, it did. It's super tasty. Mute Avery. Regulator. Operator. Mount up. There we go. Hey, Daniel, I unfortunately cannot stay for the whole stream, but I wanted to wish everybody a happy stream. Mute is doing some great stuff in our operators group. Very interesting. I'm creating a CTF, which I finally got RCE. I've created my own custom RCE for a known vulnerability that came out a couple of month and a half ago, maybe. And it was not playing nice with me, and I finally got it to fire. I was literally telling the guys and girl, we have one girl operator, that I was going to pivot to something else because it was just not being nice to me. Inflation is great. Always a good time, fed by all. Don Pizzette's in the house? Where's Don Pizzette? Don, my boy. Donnie P's. There he is. Nice product placement. It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad. By the way, that for those of you that get that reference, it's time for you to schedule your colonoscopy. That is from Wayne's World. When they do this whole product placement bit where the entire set is all like Pepsi and Pizza Hut and Reebok and stuff, and they're talking about how it's sad that movies and different type of media are just one big commercial for things. But yes, it is nice product placement. Good to have you in the chat, Don. Good to have you in the chat. I love your wit and your references. All right, let's see here. I think. Okay, so we were just guessing the monster, because I want to see what you guys think about the question I posed, which is, cracks disappoint. You'll never see me. I'm a ninja. Good. But I'm basically the Chuck Norris of IT, so I have powers. Inspector Gadget reference, nice. Just like that, he was rejuvenated. Daniel got his tackling fuel. Exactly. Tech Ricky knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's my tackling fuel. That is nice. That is nice every time. Good morning, Straw Hat Sack. Good to see you. Furious George. Lots of shenanigans and me spamming Security Plus notes, which is awesome, by the way, Furious George. Way to go. Keep that stuff up. That's the kind of stuff I like to see, right? It's not about me. It's about like building a community of people that are supporting each other and putting out cool stuff and to some extent try to impress each other, right? Like Nerdpocalypse always has the best memes and best funny stuff in the just for fun section. Not that everybody else doesn't have good stuff there as well, but that dude is like consistently throwing fun stuff in there, and it makes you want to go find a funny meme and throw it in there. So yeah. I just happened to see, okay, Tech Grunt says, went outside of my blue Hawaiian monster. Nah, I got snow in the monster. It just makes it colder and better, right? GRC Gardo, I have major imposter syndrome and technical talk. That's an interesting point. I'm glad I saw that. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind that you have imposter syndrome about that. I hate when you jump, you stupid thing. Where were we? Major imposter syndrome. There we go. More people trying to get in and have less base. I think it's only a crazy question I have today is if you saw anything odd with your NTPs. I found my local NTP server was. I did hear something about that. I don't use NTP servers normally, at least not like, I don't have anything that's freaking out about being dead on with the time. What's there, Luke Sanfield? What's there to say about jobs? Market's cooked. Yeah, that very well may be true. Let's see here. Agreed. So many videos about breaking in, but very little on how does this technology work. How can you be a cybersecurity person without understanding the tech? That's a great question, right? That's more tech for me, says Wayne's Real World. Luke Canfield says, I'm here for the skills and tech. Good morning, beautiful people. Good to see you find the true. Tech Ricky, I have heard the same thing from a cloud-focused YouTuber I follow. Their technical videos not doing so well. Don, I think there are more people in the job market than normal, so that is probably driving it. I would absolutely agree with that statement. And since Don and I both have like worked in that space where we marketed, right? We created content for skills that marketed people so that they could get into the field of IT, cybersecurity, so on and so forth. We understand that side of the business a little bit better than probably most people. And there is a lot of truth to that, right? It's not a lot of truth. It is true. It is a true statement. White Hat Sheepdog, the public into job stuff, but without the tech stuff, do you have a job then? Right. It's a very interesting thing. Let's see here. Neckbeard, we all have skills, but we don't all have a job to apply them. That's true. Well, we don't all have skills, as we just saw. Someone said they have wicked imposter syndrome when it comes to technical stuff. And there's new people coming to the table all the time that don't have those skills yet. I would say, Neckbeard, that in a way I do agree with you that it doesn't take too long, honestly, for someone who's dedicated to start to gain enough skills to where they're ready to start applying those skills at some sort of employment opportunity. And therefore, now it's like, okay, how do I get the job now that I got the skills? I think that's probably the answer of why that tends to be the case where people want to hear more about, but you still got to get the skills. And not only that, like it does kind of expose the fact that there are different audiences out there, and what's the audience in my mind versus what the audience is in your mind, or what audience you are, right? For me, my audience, the things I want to watch teach me something about skills. They teach me how to be more technically adept. It's interesting. It tickles that part of my brain that's like, ooh, complexity and, minutia and, that kind of stuff, right? I love that. Maybe even the part that likes puzzles and things of that nature. So that's why I tend to prefer technical content. It's more satisfying for me. So, and I also don't necessarily think that job hunting. There is part of it. Okay, I want to make sure that I say this in a way that's not meant to be like, oh, I'm so good at blah blah blah. That's not how I'm trying to put this. I'm really good at interviewing, so, and I understand that a lot of people are not. Okay, so on that front, I absolutely, and I also understand, kind of like to Luke's point, that the industry has had better days when it comes to jobs right now. So, but that's not uncommon. Honestly, there's always been these big like contractions and expansions, right? I think I've heard the other day that we're just kind of in a hiring freeze. AI had this big come in, got a lot of layoffs happening, and now the people that were in charge of making those layoffs happen are kind of going, maybe we went a little too hastily. Let's just chill out right now. So the prevailing wind, at least as far as I'm seeing, is that if you have a job, you're probably fine. If you don't have a job, you're probably going to have a hard time getting one, at least in the industry. And that's just kind of where it's at right now, which is honestly a good thing, because we went from layoff to now, hey, we're not really doing anything. We're just going to chill out for a minute. They're going to hopefully readjust. Hopefully, Lord, help us with this job business. Hopefully, as they figure out that like how to work with AI and how to place people, the expansion starts to occur again. No, that's what I hope to see. That's what I hope to see. So again, let me figure a few of more of these things out, and we'll take a look at today's article. I'd love to do. This is Furious George said he would love to do Tech Side more. Having to talk every so often about resumes is good, but how does making a good resume change? How often does making a good resume change? That's a good question. Honestly, I'm not the best at resumes. That's a weak spot for Daniel. Tech Grunt, simple answer to your question, all the above. Technical job chat. I think, well played, sir. Yes, that was my thoughts exactly. A little bit of everything, right? And that's what this show's kind of all about. But I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. Sierra Montgomery, I love tech, and yet I tend to deep dive independently, so I can rabbit hole unless I'm just doing a scope prior to playing with something firsthand. Awesome. I've had enough colonoscopies for a while. Good to know. Good to know. If you've never looked up like colonoscopy farts on the internet, it is hysterical. Because I never matured past like 12 years old. So farts are funny for me. And it just makes me laugh every time. Someone talking to Carrie. Okay. I'm going to try to catch up, and I'm going to get to this. Home lab, blah, blah, blah. There's a Daniel. Furious George. Maybe a My Home Lab segment of the show. How to build a home lab, get skills, practice and understand the tech. Preaching the cyber gospel, as I tend to do. I will make you believe. I think a big chunk of it comes down to money. There's more money in breaking in now buy my course. And yeah, coming from someone who has sold courses and technically has 2 courses available for you right now. Links in the description. Feel free. Yeah, totally get that. Totally get that. And the problem has always been like when the liars get involved and sell you on hopes and dreams, and all they care about is, they're grifters. They just care about separating you from your money and having it go into their pocket. That was one thing I always enjoyed about IT Pro TV was, Tim and Don and all of them, we and us too, we believed it as well. We used to say, we don't want price to be a barrier to your success. We can make enough money off of, we had a subscription model and it was fine. And, every now and then you got to tweak it because cost of living changes. And, there are some costs that get pushed along to everyone because things rise in price. But we tried to make it so much so that Tim presented one time to like a business alliance or whatever, and they would have different investors or business. I forget exactly what it was, but they would come and you kind of give your pitch, and then they would critique you and kind of ask you questions and get reasons or give you some advice. And he said the one thing they asked was, why is it so cheap? Why is this so cheap? And he was like, because I don't want price to be a barrier to the success of the people that are using it. It's a high quality product at a very affordable price. I remember telling somebody about our course library at one time, and they were like, how much is it a month? And I told them, they were like, I have no reason not to sign up. I said, well, then there you go. That's kind of the point. We got quantity of signups, therefore there was a quality of profits. It was a simple, we found a nice equilibrium. That's all people have to do. But when you're super money driven, all you care about is like stealing people's money. That's what you end up getting. Boy, this took a turn, didn't it? Furious George, is there a focus on system design when it comes to cybersecurity? Like, think of it. Yeah, that's probably one of the more difficult aspects is the secure software development lifecycle. Trying to get people to really like I believe in Jesus, I believe in the secure software. Like it is an axiom by which they live their life. It's difficult because there are many reasons, but whatever. It's so we could use more of that. Very good point. Very good point. That's what we're saying. Okay, let's see. Hopefully I'm catching up. I'm just going to jump to the bottom here. Sorry if I miss some people. Yep, that's why I did IP Pro TV, says Wayne's Real World. Not going to lie, a hard time keeping my IT Pro sub when it started. That US it was rough. I hear you. Pink Punch was a win, and maybe Daniel Lowry's new fave. But this is Legrat. Good to see you, Legrat. I love Daniel Life Talks. It's real as it gets. Hey, you know what? That's what we try to do. Like I said at the beginning of the show. Okay. This has been fun. This has been a good talk. I appreciate everyone's input on that. I'll go back and make sure that anything I missed I catch. And Wayne, you know what to do. If I miss something important, throw it in my face. Spam me with it. Let me know. Other than that, let's get to today's article, which is, if I can find it, where to go. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Let me grab this lovely article. I got to get to the top. Here it comes. All right, here. New phishing framework proxies, real login pages to bypass MFA. Like I said, I'm really interested in technical things. And this is a bit of a technical write-up around a framework. And that's what I found most interesting about this it is a tool, but it's a framework tool. Think of like Metasploit. It's a framework. It does a bunch of different things. It does it really well. And you just kind of like jump in and utilize it as necessary. And this is the same kind of thing. Now, this is for threat actors. This isn't like a tool that pen testers very well necessarily may be using. They might be in the future, or they might make some fork of it. There are other things that are out there that are kind of similar, but I just want to take a look at this and kind of learn about their TTPs when it comes to threat actors out there. So go inside Starkiller's control panel, see how headless browsers and reverse proxies enable enterprise-grade phishing infrastructure to bypass MFA. Make sure that's big enough for you there, right? So MFA is supposed to be the great savior to keep us from, getting hurt out there. Okay, Abby, thank you. I don't need you. You can go. But it's not foolproof. There are ways around this, obviously. Now, what's interesting when I say there are ways around it, technically, we're not circumventing MFA, right? And you're like, how the hell is that? What do you mean we're not circumventing MFA? What we are doing is we're acting as kind of like an attacker in the middle kind of thing. And you'll see it's kind of like a browser in the middle where you can create a browser using code, right? Obviously, that is borderless. It looks like a window. It looks like an app, right? And therefore you can create app-like windows, but are browser-based. You can click on it. You have input boxes. And guess what? It sends those things back. So it kind of goes, hey, let me log in for you. But I'm not letting you know that I'm logging in for you because I look exactly like the login page for which you are attempting to log into. Right? Really cool stuff. So let's get back to it. Let's take a look. Let me check. I saw my name in chat. So Tech Grunt, as I'm running cable in the ceiling, a raccoon appeared and wanted you to know you made such amazing points when preaching the cyber gospel. Ah, man, that's funny. All right. I love this. You guys have so much chat going today. I'll have to read all this later. All right, let's see here. So let's get in here. Most phishing kits rely on static HTML clones of login pages, right? So think Evil Jinx, that kind of stuff. Other cred harvesters. What was it? The OG one that used to do this. Social engineering toolkit, SET, right? It has the same kind of idea. It would create a clone of a login page. You would log in and off you go. It would grab all those creds and then pass you along, right? While effective they are inherently fragile. Even minor interface updates from the impersonated brand can immediately reveal the deception. It's difficult to keep up with what's going on. Constantly have to re-download. There's elements to those pages that can change or become unavailable. Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times when I've done demos of these kind of tools. And sometimes it's a little easier to see that doesn't look right. There's something off about this. Right? And that's a problem. The new framework here, Starkiller, not to be confused with the security red team tool of the same name. There's a command and control of Empire, right? Empire and Starkiller. Very cool stuff. If you like C2s, go play with that. It's a lot of fun. Set you up a little lab. By the way, I didn't ignore you, Furious George, about a home lab setup. That could be fun stuff to do. So maybe I'll try to. I usually just turn the camera on for the IRL. That's set up for IRL. It's doable. It just takes more work. I'll think about it. Could be good. Could be worth it once in a while, right? All right, continuing. Let's see here. So it takes a different approach. Sold as a commercial-grade cybersecurity platform by a threat group calling itself Jinkusu. Starkiller is distributed as a SaaS product. SaaS products being something like Facebook. That's a SaaS product. Like, for those of you in the corporate world, Salesforce. That's a SaaS product. It launches a headless Chrome instance. Headless, right? A browser that operates without a visible window inside a Docker container. Loads the brand's real website and acts as a reverse proxy between the target and legitimate site. Right? So recipients are served a genuine page. Right? You get the actual content directly through the attacker's infrastructure. So you are really getting that. It's just being the mode by which you access it. And since there is that layer of abstraction between you and the login page, that layer can actually grab things. It can see, it has insight into what you are doing and what the app is actually bringing back to you, what the responses are. Let's see here. Ensuring the phishing page is never out of date because it's always the actual page. And because Starkiller proxies the real live site, there are no template files, which is, listen, anybody that's ever played around with Evil Jinx to create, it's not easy. It is not easy at all. And now they have the pro version and the information around how to create the templates for Evil Jinx, they really want you to take their class, which is fine, right? They created a great product. It's a wonderful product. It works really well for red teamers and people that are doing, phishing campaigns and things of that nature for testing organizations' capabilities. It's a really nice product, but as most things do, they start to build up and they create a professional product, which requires professional training and money. It is what it is. So it's kind of difficult to find enough information how to to effectively build your templates, which is the secret sauce to how Evil Jinx really works well. Being able to do that well makes you good at your job, right? So back to the story. Oh, hold on. Phil Stafford said something. That's inventive. Container in the middle. Yeah, exactly. Now you see why I wanted to bring this up, right? Fun stuff. Cheddar Bob, what's up? Space Tacos here. Yeah, the Starkiller. Where? Funny. All right, let's see here. So there's no, and that's another great point. Vendors cannot fingerprint or blacklist your templates. Good stuff. In this blog post, we take a look at the platform and its panel to break down how it works and what defenders are up against. I mean, you got to admit, man, this is looking pretty sweet. It's pretty hot. That's their landing page. 99.7% success rate. Now, of course, they could be lying about that. There is no honor amongst thieves, as they say. So you can take that statistic with the same grain of salt that you take anything from people that steal. Just letting you know. All right, enterprise-grade phishing infrastructure. Let's take a look under the hood. They have a polished dashboard, deploying phishing campaigns, and the core workflow requires almost no technical skill. That's another really great point about today's day and age when it comes to cyber, is the bar has been significantly lowered, technically. And maybe that's why most people don't care to hear about the technical side of stuff as much anymore. Because you don't have to be as good with it. There are tools that can kind of get you there pretty easily. And I have done it. And that's how I know for a fact. I'm complete transparency. I have used AI to be like, it would take me like 3 or 4 days to try to code this up. I kind of get the idea. Can you create a script that does this, 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 and this? And he goes, yes, I can absolutely do that. Here you go. And he goes, oh yeah, ran. Look at that. Worked just like a charm. So technical skill has been lowered. The bar for that has been lowered. An attacker enters a brand's real URL and platform spins up a Docker container running a headless Chrome instance that loads the real login page. Container then acts as a man-in-the-middle proxy, a reverse proxy, forwarding the end user's inputs to the legitimate site and returning the site's responses. Every keystroke, form submission, and session token, which is the big thing here. Not that keystrokes aren't good as well. This is all really great information for any threat actor. It passes through an attacker-controlled infrastructure and is logged along the way. Here's a little bit of what it looks like. It's not the prettiest picture of it, but it's a little blurry. Just going to throw that out there. I might not be as happy with your product at that point. I'm like, can I change the theme? The Blood Moon theme here, not really working for me. It's making it difficult for an old man like me. As I try to pilfer the pockets of the general population out there, I'm really having trouble deciphering what it is that I'm looking at on the screen because of your fuzzy Blood Moon theme. So, let's see here. Features list goes well beyond basic credential capture. Real-time session monitoring. That's crazy. Allowing them to live stream the target's screen as they interact with the phishing page. Oh, man. The platform also includes keylogger capture for every keystroke, which we kind of heard already. Cookie and session token theft. Yep. For session takeover, account takeover. Geo-tracking of targets. Automated Telegram alerts when new creds come in. Campaign analytics round out the operator experience with visit counts, conversation rates, performance graphs. This is a straight pro dashboard. You got to admire, like, I don't admire the a-holes that are out there stealing from people. And I hope that they're not getting colonoscopies and that they suffer the consequences thereof. But you have to admire their creativity, their ingenuity, their technical expertise. Now, maybe they vibe coded the whole thing and it's rife with stupidity, but the idea is very chef's kiss. You got to give them credit to that. So it is what it is. Saw my name from Phil Stafford. Like any tech, the tool just makes the manual part lower in the stack. We don't code in assembly, nor do we write by hand. Yeah. I will say coding in assembly would be a good skill to pick up, especially if you want to do like custom shellcode writing, that's a phenomenal skill right there. Tech Grunt, as Daniel Lowry mentions, he is an old man. I can imagine a comic book series with Old Man Lowry, like Old Man Logan. I would be honored to be Old Man Lowry. That would be funny. I would love that. I love comic books, so. Let's see here. I don't know if Don's still in the chat, but did you, and you guys can be on some Inside Baseball. I had recommended he read the Wolverine versus Predator series. I really enjoyed that. So, by the way, Don, I watched the Killer of Killers. I really liked that. I also watched the Badlands. Don and I are both Predator fans, like big time Predator fans. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't to me, Predator, the original Predator, it just set the bar so high. And we have yet to really reach back up to that bar, in my opinion. And Badlands definitely wasn't that. It was a sci-fi alien space adventure action, right? Which in and of itself was good. But if you're trying to get me back in the fray of, man, I eat, sleep, breathe this as a Predator movie, I don't think it hit that for me. Go ahead. Squirrel. Back to the story here. What else can this thing do? Right? So obviously it's very, very capable. Look at all this. I mean, that dashboard is flipping crazy. I think, and then, okay, starts talking about MFA bypass. So yeah, here we go. You're actually authenticating with the real sites. One-time codes, authentication keys, and tokens and everything are submitted forward in legitimate service in real time. See, and that's why this isn't necessarily a bypass. It's actually doing the MFA. The attacker is just able to get once you've authenticated, right? You give, you're like, you need MFA? No problem. You're looking at the actual MFA. You look at your authenticator app, you get your email, you get your text message, whatever the case is that you're using for MFA, and you put that in and it's legit. Then you're authenticated. And this is where it gets fun, right? This is where it's like, I'm not trying to break MFA. I want MFA to actually work as an attacker. Once it does, you get authenticated. Here comes session token. That's your key to this kingdom. And I get to go, thanks for a copy of that. Here's yours. And now I get to act as you. And it's none the wiser because as long as that session is valid, that's how you that's your ticket to ride whatever ride you're riding on that web app is that session token. You present it and it goes, right? It doesn't just look legit. It is legit, right? And since it's the only method for which it checks your legitimacy, it lets you ride the ride. That's how it goes. So there we go. Let's see here. So MFA protections are effectively neutralized despite functioning exactly as designed. I love that. That's very well said. Very well said. They have extended features, including fake update templates, advanced obfuscation for phishing links. Dude, they left no stone unturned here. Instant deployment. Let's see here. Phil Stafford. It's like siphoning off a copy from the legit. Yeah, imagine you had a tap on that network line. It's kind of what's happening there, right? All right, let's keep going here, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Starkiller's marketing materials indicate you like how they and really we could keep going down the rabbit hole of what this can do. URL masking makes malicious links vanish, right? That's actually pretty. The tool also integrates URL shorteners, customize URL. This is very interesting. So that is an interesting and very crafty piece of kit they've got there, making it easy for you to obfuscate your phishing links. Wow. Okay, I'm kind of looking at some of this for the first time myself. Here's just screenshots, and then you get active targets, and now you have action that's going on. But really what's super interesting about this, or one of the big takeaways, is this is a business. This is running just like it was any other, like SolarWinds or, O365. It is a software suite that you access through your browser, gives you great functionality. They probably have a team for issues and things like that. It runs just like any other corporate business. They have marketing, like, because talked about it, marketing, right? This isn't just some Russian 20-year-olds going, oh, it'd be fun to do this, and we're making money stealing people's things. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they exist there, but they went straight pro, legit. I wonder how much of this was vibe coded, right? And what they end up doing. Let's check you guys out in the chat because I see my name a couple of times. Random X Skills, does this drive you straight into YubiKeys? Honestly, yes. YubiKeys are the best way that we have right now of, at least I'm pretty, like, it's, if not the best way, it is definitely one of the best ways to being more secure. But guess what? People don't like security, honestly. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're like, it's difficult. You mean I have to have a 12-character password? F that noise. Bruh. I don't have anything. Listen, this is the one thing I hear all the time. I don't have anything anybody else cares about. Yeah, you do. Do you have any money at all? Do you have an identity that they could utilize at all for any reason at all? Doesn't matter if you can't think, and because that's the real thing, is that no, it's they do have use for you and your person and your resources. You just don't know what they are because you're ignorant of security. And that's not a dig. I don't say that pejoratively. That's just a brute fact. That's an observation. Ignorance just means that you have lack of knowledge of something. You have lack of familiarity. Because of you are making life decisions based off of little to no information. And that's the problem. So if you knew what was going on with the money that they use, like human trafficking, when they steal money from you, in a lot of ways, drugs, right? All sorts of horribleness goes on with the money they steal from you. So yes, they absolutely have stuff. You absolutely have stuff that they want from you. Don't give me that garbage. I kicked a hornet's nest here. Lots of people talking. Let's see here. So you are saying after it double checks your legitimacy, safe, you are too legit to quit. White Hat Sheepdog, you might be a great addition with Fancy Bear with your accent. Thanks. Thank you. I've been working on it. Random X Skills. No, they don't. I tried to roll out biometrics. Yeah. I don't want the government having my fingerprints. LMAO, my head spins on that one. I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to fingerprints. Are you talking about the YubiKeys that use your fingerprints? That's probably what you're meaning. We went down the rabbit hole one time of it, like biometrics. Like it will take blood, urine, or stool sample. Then you buy a used one on eBay. It's like, that's not nice. Billy, put that down. Quit sniffing it. He's like a dog, right? When he finds something stinking, he just wants to roll in it. He's nasty. Furious George, well, it's almost work time for you. Well, good to have you, brother. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We are all vulnerable. Yes, we are all vulnerable. No one does perfect OPSEC. It's all about making yourself the least, what's the word? Where you want to be the least tantalizing target. You don't want to look good to the attacker. White Hat Sheepdog, shout out to Tim Tebow going to the Hill, getting more attention with trafficking this week. Yeah, let's stop that crap, right? That junk needs to stop. So yeah, no tech neck today. I'm just kind of incorporating it. I don't know if I'm doing full segments. I'm running out of time. We only got 10 minutes left. I still got another one. Maybe I'll tech neck that. We could do tech neck that. How about that? Guardrails, I'm almost never on Discord, but I think Daniel has one and I'm in it. Good to see you, LeGrat. Okay. That's cool. We're happy to have you whenever you're there. Billy, put that down. That boy is just dirty. All right, so let's move on little AI, because AI is the life and the world we live in at this point in time. And I thought this was a really interesting article as well. This comes from Security Week. And it's artificial intelligence living off the AI. All right, here comes old Tech Neck. Let's get a deep breath and get you a tug on the old drink there. All right, now, here we go. Now, if y'all remember back in the day when attackers were like, man, every time I put something on disk, AV and EDR just kicking my butt. They just stomping a mud hole in my ass and walking it dry every time I drop something on a disk. And that is not going to work. What can I do? How can I fly under the radar a little bit easier, right? So we started doing this there's stuff on the computer already. Maybe I can just utilize the things that already exist, because it's not going to go, that's malicious. It's just going to go, that's a tool that gets used in my environment. All right, let me just turn it on its head and make it useful for malicious things. Fun fact, kids, that's honestly the way a lot of security tools and hacky tools come about. Moving on. So let's see here. For years, defenders have battled living off the land techniques. Yes, it is a real pain in the A, isn't it? Where adversaries progress using the tools already present on compromised systems. Thinking PowerShell, hate you, PowerShell. I hate you with the fire of 1,000 suns. The fires of hell itself do not burn as bright and hot as my fervent hate for PowerShell. Very useful tool, though, just FYI. I just don't like its syntax model. Pisses me off. WMI, it's kind of like SQL. But anyway, and then living off the cloud came about. Right? Everybody said, oh, let's move to cloud. Cloud's also, it's cloudy. Yeah, it's cloudy, all right. Anyway, as threat actors hid in plain sight would go behind ubiquitous cloud services for malware delivery and data exfiltration, it was useful, right? Because how do you block a CDN? They figure out. Anyway, we're now entering the next phase, living off the AI. Organizations are rapidly adopting AI assistants, agents, and the emerging. I'm drunk. That's how it is. I had a little too much of the punk punch, and now I'm a little tipsy. The emerging model context protocol, or MCP, is becoming life, and we got to stay competitive. Attackers have noticed. Let's look at how different MCPs and AI agents can be targeted, and how, in practice, the enterprise AI becomes a part of the attacker's playbook. Right? You got AI on your box. You guys are using AI. There's API keys built in. If I gain access into your system, what can I get by the way, trusted AI? Some bitch becomes like an insider threat at that point in time, because it works like a real person, especially if you have agents deployed and N8N and MCP, all that fun stuff. I'm just like, hey, guess what? I'm your guy, man. Can you do this for me? It's like, hell yeah, I can do that. You're absolutely sure you can do it? Oh, watch me. Hold my beer. What we got going? Tech Grunt, Tech Neck, living off the land makes a new kind of cyber software. Inspired by Aerosmith, living on the edge. That is funny. I was literally singing that song in my head this morning. Get out of my brain, Tech Grunt. I don't like it. Makes me feel funny. I'll go ahead, kick around. What are you going to do? Your Tech Neck today is a hint of Joe Dirtneck, Chef's Kiss. All right, let's see here. From jailbreaks to zero-knowledge threat actors, model behavior can be shifted by context, not just code. In a previous article, I wrote about immersive world, blah, blah, blah. As a result, working password-stealing malware targeting Chrome. A proof point that its barrier to entry has collapsed. We call this the age of zero-knowledge threat actor. That's not scary as hell, right? Like, that's pure 100% distilled nightmare fuel. Zero-knowledge threat actors, man. Think about it. Remember when script kiddies, and we just make fun of them because all they knew how to do was, like, grab scripts off the internet that they haphazardly found, and then they equally haphazardly just fling out the door to whatever and hope that it sticks to something. They go, look at me, I'm a hacker. Guess what? They can be just as effective at this point with targeted hacks using AI. Isn't that a fun world? Are you not? Are you not entertained? Right? 2-man enter, 1-man leave. Oh, I saw my name a couple of times. Let's see here. Bill Stafford. I released an attestation registry to verify MCP and other AI tools at install time. Good to know. That's a smart move right there, my man. Smart move. Billy just installs every AI agent thing he can get his hands on. Default creds, default everything. We call him Billy the default a-hole, right? Because that's how he runs. Like, who left all these defaults? Never mind. I knew the answer as soon as the question left my lips. All right, with access to AI tools, someone with minimal expertise can assemble credible offensive capabilities. That democratization changes the risk calculus when the same AI stack that accelerates your workforce also wields things like code execution, file system access, search across internal data knowledge bases, ticketing or payments. Then any lapse in control turns into real business impact. That's right. So what does this look like? Right? No more smash and grab malware. No more just like, here's hoping, YOLO with my malware. Prompt-born tool abuse. A document or web page with hidden instructions causes an agent to invoke connected tools. Query your internal RAG index for secrets, scheduling tasks, exfiltrating snippets to a URL externally without tripping any traditional EDR. Because the agent is doing exactly what it's meant to do and it's trusted. MCP and agent tooljacking. Poorly permissioned tools let an agent read more data than it needs, which is probably more often than not. An attacker nudges the agent to chain tools in a way the designer didn't anticipate. Right. Memory and retrieval poisoning. If an agent learns from prior chats or a shared vector store, an attacker can seed malicious facts that reshape future actions. Altering decisions, suppression, warning. Oh, yeah, that's fun. Or inserting endpoints used for data exfiltration that looks routine. I thought, it says cloud camo. I was like, camo? I have camo. I love camo. I do all my best decorating with camo. I don't know about y'all. I don't know where the hell my house is. I lost it because of that. AI, Cloud Camo AI Edition. As with living off the cloud, attackers route communications via popular SaaS platforms. Now the AI itself is the dispatcher, posting to collaboration channels, updating tickets, and syncing summaries that quietly include sensitive data. Abuse of vibe coding, AI-driven web development platforms such as Lovable, and to a lesser extent, via vulnerabilities in Base 44, Netify, Vercel, are all increasingly being abused by cybercriminals to design, host, and launch convincing phishing sites. So yeah, this is the world we're living in, right? Because AI keeps getting better and adoption is outpacing hardening. Tools, surfaces proliferate. What do we do about it? This is good. This is what I like to see in an article. What can we do? Well, we treat agents as privileged users, just like we do, right? With automation superpowers. But that is exactly right. See, that we don't tend to think of things in the right context. We just think, oh, cool tool does cool tool stuff. It's like, well, yes, it does, but you got to think of it as like super awesome person sitting at a super awesome desk doing super awesome stuff. In that it marry the ideas together, that it is a person. I know that's weird because it's a robot. But when it comes to security, that's how you got to think about it. Minimize and isolate tool scope. Narrow each tool's permission down to the least privileges. I mean, this is old school stuff. This isn't nothing new. Enforce explicit allow lists for network egress. Separate high-risk tools. And guess what? You can use the AI tools to make this job easier. So do that. Harden prompts. This is the harder part, honestly. Context and retrieval. If this were easy, we wouldn't be seeing like Mexican government gets hacked by AI, right? Guardrails get jailbreaking happens. So just keep that in mind, that this is probably the more difficult part of it, but we got to work on it, right? We got to get good at that. That's probably a really good niche to get into, is building better security around the AI agents themselves, what they can and cannot do, and their prompt guardrails. Validate and constrain tool inputs and outputs. Maybe do something that looks into what it's sending and receiving. Redact secrets before model exposure. Never pass credentials to an LLM comms, right? See? You can't have that. Add real guardrails beyond model policies. Yeah, so I will throw this in the chat. This is a good article. Copy, paste, booyah. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. We are at time, kids. Definitely check the Educate Humans in the Loop. What good looks like. Plenty of information in that article to help you at least get some familiarity with protecting against living off the AI environment that we now live. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, like and subscribe, as they say. Give it the old thumbs up. Make a comment. I love the comments. Like, good comments. The chat doesn't have to stop just because the show is over. Throw anything that you thought about that you thought might be useful or interesting or whatever into the comments section, and then we can continue the conversation. And also our Discord. Don't forget that. Link in the description below. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And until next time, keep hacking.